Today is our warrior uh, free Q&A call where people can jump on, ask questions about anything, and get some straightforward, direct answers and advice, not based on theory or feelings or emotions, but based on what's literally working in academies all across the country that have been proven out. And one of the things that's really great is, we test everything on ourselves first. I'm never going to say, you should try this, you should try that, and let's see what happens. No, 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 no. Success loves clues. And I'll be honest, there's certain things that we tried a decade ago. And, Master Mertens and I spent a full year in our Carmichael Academy testing all kinds of crazy ideas. And some of them flopped, and some of them knocked our socks off. And so, like with anything, you're not afraid to try new stuff. You keep the good, you leave the bad. Fast forward to today. Well, we test stuff on ourselves first. And if it works as well, really well here, then we'll try it out next over the next few months with some of our high level clients, folks that are doing 40, 60 grand a month because they're very consistent in their actions. And then if it works equally well for them, well, then we roll it out for everybody because we don't need to worry about now, well, will it work for everybody? We've already proven it. So when we tell you that here's something that works or here's what works best, it's because it's already been thoroughly vetted and tested and it just works. If it's not working, well, then ask the appropriate questions, ask any questions so that we can talk about it and help you get it right. I see Mormondo Martial Arts on here. Good to see you, sir. Glad you're on here. One of our newer folks to our Black Belt Academy. So Tim, since you have your camera on, let's dive in. This is the last day of the month. Are we where we'd hoped we'd be?
Am I where I hoped I would be? I would say no.
Okay, that's all
Yeah,
right. Now,
and that's why I'm on here.
yes,
Um,
sir.
so I don't
Let-
know. No,
well,
no,
that's
I
all right. Let
guess.
me let me let me lead this for you. Okay. All right. So if I look as a business owner, as an entrepreneur,
Mhm.
I look,
Yeah,
okay, my goal was to hit X. I fell short by whatever I fell short. The question you got to ask is why?
right.
So, the first thing I would ask is if we start at the top of the food chain, how many leads did we generate for the month?
For me,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
um, I don't have that information, so I need to definitely work on my tracking.
Okay.
And it was a little bit of a down month for me because I was with a certain company with my website and my lead nurturing, and I
Ah,
switched to a new website. So my website was like down maybe a little bit. It's just getting back up there. And
mhm.
right now, I'm not doing any lead nurturing, which is one thing I'd hope we talk about today. So
Okay.
this has been like a reset month for me, so to speak, where I
Got
don't
it.
have clear, concise goals.
Yeah.
Maybe that's not a good thing to say, but I'm being truthful with you.
Hey, honesty is the best policy, sir. And I appreciate your willingness to, you know, pull off the band-aid because I tell you, the number one thing that stops guys in our line of work is their unwillingness to simply tell the truth. Because I think we get into this caricature of ourselves that because we're in front of an audience every single day teaching classes and they think you walk on water, I think
Correct.
unfortunately sometimes we start to believe it too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, no,
and,
but
and
you're not going to get that from me. I mean, who hasn't fallen in the mud before, right?
right. And so we have to stay sober to the fact that, hey, I don't know everything. I'm not as perfect. Now, I can provide that leadership for my students, but I've got to stay based in reality that I need to do more, right? And if I can admit the idea that I don't have it all figured out just yet, and I'd like some help in shortcutting this so it doesn't take another 20, 30 years to figure it out, success leaves clues, and I don't need to reinvent the wheel. I don't want to. I want to say, okay, show me what works. Let's just do that. And the truth is, the fear of failure prevents people from doing that because they think, well, what if it doesn't work? Well, let me just put everyone at ease. If there's something that you try to do and it doesn't work, there is nothing stopping you from going back to what you did before. It's as simple as that. Well, what if I lose all my students? Well, then there's much bigger issues going on. I mean, the only way you're going to lose all your students is if you just quit signing people up or you do something really bad or malicious and you might end up in jail. So let's not do that. So if we go back, everyone has to firmly realize, agree, embrace that in a business structure, you have to have prospects win all the time. If you don't have a steady flow of leads coming in, you will die on the vine. I just finished a call with a gentleman right before this who's coming on board as a new client for our Warrior Black Belt group. And in the last 9 months, his numbers basically can't fell in half. And when that's a four alarm fire right there. You went from a lot of students to a little students in 9 months. Well, when we looked at, okay, what caused that? It wasn't upset on the mat. It was simply that attrition is real. And in the last 9 months, there's been virtually nobody enrolled. Well, let me tell you guys, if you have things wound really tight, you're going to have about a 5% attrition. That means if you have, and that's if things are really wound tight. If it's a little loosey-goosey, probably about 8. So if you have 100 active students and you're losing 8 a month, it doesn't take very long to get to 50, right? Now, the reason why more schools don't is because they're also actively enrolling people each and every month. Because there is no way you're not going to lose people. Even like I said, if you have a smaller school, your attrition is much less because you have a more personal relationship, right? I mean, heck, you probably know everyone's birthday. If you have a large school, you can't keep track of that, so the attrition goes up a little bit, but it still should never be over 8%. I had a guy, a good friend of mine, and he's got a small school. He's got 50, 60 students. And he goes, well, man, I haven't had anyone quit in 3 months. And I said, well, you better brace yourself. And he goes, what do you mean? And I said, well, just based on the numbers, I can tell you what's going to happen next. He said, what's that? And I said, well, based on your numbers, if you have a really tight attrition and hey, Master Brown, good to see you on here, sir. And I see Todd Carroll on here. Good to see you, sir. Excellent. So, and a blank iPhone and Trazilla, and I think I already said hi to Mike. We got Professor Murray. Want to give all you guys a shout out. Good to see you on here. Um, where was I? So he's got like 60 students. Well, what's 3% of 60?
0.8, I guess.
0.8? Yeah, sounds about right. I'll take that. No, no, no. Is that right?
You want to round it up too, right?
Sure, why not?
Three six
Okay.
is 18. So
Okay.
yeah.
So let's round it up. Let's say 2. Because this is a while ago when we had this conversation. But I said, well, you better brace yourself. He goes, what do you mean? I said, well, if you've had 0 people quit in the last 90 days, you're about to get hit hard. You probably have 5 or 6 quit this month. He goes, there ain't no way. I said, bet. Guess what happened? 6 people on the nose. He goes, I can't believe it. I say, the law of averages, numbers never lie, guys. They don't lie. The numbers tell the real story. And sure enough, bam, he goes, yeah, but it wasn't my fault. I said, no, whoa, whoa, whoa. Nobody said it was your fault. I don't think it's hardly ever your fault. Why do people quit? Colby Nelson, Kyle, good to see you guys. Why do people quit? Let's list some reasons. Why do people quit? Um, they give up on themselves or their kid. Life gets in the way. They get too busy. Maybe they get a new job. Maybe their job hours get extended. Maybe they lose their job. Maybe they get a new boyfriend or girlfriend. Maybe they get dumped by a boyfriend or girlfriend. Maybe they get relocated. Did I say lose their job? I mean, there's so many things that get in the way. Heck, sometimes soccer. No, they started competitive soccer. It's going to be 6 days a week. That really irritates me. But the truth is, life gets in the way. People quit all the time, and it rarely has anything to do with you. So the truth is, attrition is real. You can't stop it. However, if you have them on bigger, bolder memberships, then you slow it down. You can't stop it. Again, if your attrition is really, really good, you're still going to lose 3%. You're still going to, and anyone tells you they don't lose anybody is lying or delusional. Because, I had one guy recently, he goes, well, I've got about 100 students. Okay, great. And we started talking about attrition. He goes, "Oh, no, 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 nobody quits. Nobody quits." I said, That's not, it's not true." I said, "How many people do you enroll each month?" "About eight." I said, "Okay. And how many students did you have 1 year ago today?" He goes, "About 100." I said, "Well, where are they? Where's the other 96 people you enrolled?" The truth is, everybody quits. Everybody quits. Now, I've got a couple dozen people that have been with me for well over a decade. I've got people who've been with me 15, 16, 17 years. Big deal. There's not enough of them to make the kind of money you need to make. That's the exception, not the rule. But if you don't look at the individuals and you look at just the population, right? The truth is everybody quits. And what that means is if you're doing a good job, you're still going to replace your roster in terms of numbers, maybe not each individual, but in terms of numbers, about every 12 months. The number of people you have on your active student count is a reflection not of how good your program is. Okay, get that out of your head. It is a reflection of how many people do you enroll each month. Now that can be sobering. So if you enroll on average 5 new people a month, a school that enrolls 5 new people a month will typically have about 60 active students. Now, it might be off by 5 or 10, but you're going to be in that ballpark, guaranteed. If you enroll 20 people a month, guess what? You're going to have about 250 students. That's just the way of the game. When you really look at the numbers and you dissect your reports accurately, you will see that that is true. We got a client down in Southern California, Master Robbie Robinson. I love his story. Before he signed on with us a couple years ago, I guess 3 years ago now, he was driving Uber on the weekends to make enough money so he could pay the rent at the karate school because he was going broke. And the good news is he had had some success before. He had gotten off track. Like I said, he was driving Uber on the weekends, and he's like, "I'm ready to do whatever I need to do. Just tell me what to do. I've had enough." And so he embraced everything and just bam. Fast the next year, he made $100,000 in personal income. The next year, he made just over $200,000 in personal income. And I think this year, he's on track to do about 250 in personal income, not school money, his money. What changed? He said, "You know what? Just tell me what to do. I'm going to do it. I'm going to put my blinders on. I'm not worried about anything else other than implementation." And the truth is, success loves speed, right? So the faster we can adjust and to anything, faster you can adjust, the more likely you're going to have success. And again, the great news is you don't have to figure it out on your own. Just take what's been proven to work and lay it down over whatever style you teach, and let's get busy. And that's the beauty of this. It doesn't matter what style you teach. I mean, we've got guys that do taekwondo. We do taekwondo. We do a pretty traditional form of taekwondo. And I've got guys that do sport taekwondo, and I've got guys that do every version of karate you can imagine. Heck, Joel Brown on here, appreciate you having your camera on. He's a Krav Maga guy. I mean, you wouldn't want to meet him in a dark alley. We've got guys in here that we've got guys that do what else? We've got guys that do lots of kung fu guys. Kung Fu guys always have a really quick success because the Kung Fu brothers, they're a little bit different. Whereas us karate and taekwondo guys are like, "Well, this is the way they did it for 10,000 years. I can't change it." Okay, we'll keep being broke. The Kung Fu guys typically were raised with a different mentality, always look for a new and better way to do things. And so when they go, "Oh, this is better, let me try it," they just embrace it and go. And because of that, their trajectory is phenomenal. We've got jujitsu guys, we've got MMA fighters, we've got fencing. Heck, this even works for yoga. There's a yoga lady here in town that we helped. She was going broke, couldn't pay her rent. Now she averages about 40 grand a month, killing it because it's the same business system. Your job is to market and sell memberships so that you get to do what you do on the map forever. Because the truth is, if you don't get good at putting people on memberships, there's no one to teach, or there's not enough of them to make a difference in your life. So, back to the top of the funnel, leads. What are we doing to get leads? I know personally, we interact with the schools, we do school talks, we do booths, um, we do a lot on Facebook and Instagram. We do some on Google. We're in and out of Google. We constantly go back and retest stuff for you guys. We'll spend the money to see how it's working now. Um, Referrals. We do family events. There's a lot of legs under that table. Why? Because A, I don't want to be held prisoner to any one thing. And B, I know that if there's not people coming in to check us out, if there's not people raising their hands saying, hey, pick me, well, then that attrition thing, it still keeps flowing. It's like my swimming pool. If I turn off the water, the pool water will evaporate all by itself. No one has to drain the pool. It just evaporates over time, and then your pump burns out. You got to keep adding water to it. It doesn't stay full. And your business is the same way. Every business on the planet has to acquire a new customer. Now, if you guys, anyone on this call I see some of these names in here, you guys are already in our Black Belt group. Fantastic. I'm glad you're here, and I hope you can share. Um, but we give you the biggest lever to pull for your marketing, and that's the meta ads. And if you guys haven't gone through Roman's training on that, you need to do it like today. Roman, um, how long would you say it would take someone who is uh, like your Uncle Martin, a self-proclaimed tech tard, his words, not mine. How long would it take someone to go through the training and get their ads up and running?
I would say, well, just based on a couple like 75, 80-year-old school owners I've talked to,
Yeah.
go through it about one time all the way through, and it's about 30 minutes. And then they'll
Mhm.
go through again and actually follow along 'cause it's like click by click. And so within an hour, maybe an hour and a half, it's up and going.
Okay. Okay. So I need to adjust. I say usually I tell people in less than an hour, but if they're going through it twice, I get it. That would
Well,
probably, yeah.
that's if you have no experience with how to click the buttons, they'll go through it one time without touching anything just to see it,
Yep.
and then
Yep.
back through and clicking it. But if you have
So in
any
less than 90
familiarity,
minutes. Oh,
any
okay.
familiarity, you can just go through it step by step and be up and running within like 45.
And if you guys haven't gone through it, you need to go through it. I mean, it's literally paint by numbers. Do this, type this, copy paste this, turn this on, turn this off, hit done. I mean, it's really that simple. In fact, we
Yeah.
have one guy, he's like, well, my ads aren't working. And so I believe Roman went into his account or no, no, he said, Roman, what's going on? He went through what he did. He goes, well, go through the training one more time. He went through the training again. He goes, oh, I missed that one spot. Okay, now it's working. It just works.
Yep.
Just works. And sometimes people are afraid of committing to a budget. But let me put you guys all at ease. You control the budget. You can set it to be $10 a day, or you can set it to be $100 a day, or anywhere in between. And here's the best part of it. You can adjust it up or down on any day you want. You can turn it off or on any day you want. Sifu Clark, his go-to, I don't think he's on here, is he? He might be on. No, he's not on here. Okay. Sifu Clark, his go-to is at the end of the month. If he's gotten his 100 leads for the month, he just turns it off. I'm like, why are you turning it off? Just get more. And he's like, oh, it's okay. My guys can't handle more. Okay, well, there you go. And that's what you should gauge it by. How many leads can you get to? Because if you can't get to them, you're wasting money. So his deal, he wants to get 100 leads every single month. He's in Killeen, Texas, and it's Marshall Zen Kung Fu Academy. He's awesome. Um, he gets his 100 leads and then he toggles it off. And then on the first of the month, tomorrow, put it back on. But the beauty of it is you are in full control. You're not committing to $1,000 a month or 3,000. You're committing to whatever daily budget is. You're committing to that amount of dollars. So if you have it set to $30 a day and you run it, you're committing to $30. And if nothing happens, go check it, find out what you did wrong, and then let it go another day. And if by day three nothing's happened, turn it off. Something went wrong. Turn it off. Ask for help. It's that simple. It's not like in the old days where you had to sign a contract to spend $1,000 a month on something. No, it's a day by day, and you have all the acts. And this is why I recommend you guys go through this versus all the ad agencies that are out there. In fact, let me go back to Seafood Clark. He was using one of the main ad agencies that you see out there a lot. I won't name names, but you see them a lot. And he was using them, paying them a lot of money. And then he goes, I'm going to do a split test. I'm going to run Roman's ads and let them keep running ads also and see which one does better. Well, guess who's no longer getting paid by him? Yeah. He goes, man, he goes, at first they were about even, but free. And then he goes, and then within a few short weeks, the ads that we give away were outperforming the ads he was paying $600-700 a month to get run. And so, yeah, they, we don't want anyone on it. Now, if you want to pay someone to do them, that's cool. We've got some people we can refer you to someone that'll do it for you. If you want to pay someone to do them for you, there's nothing wrong with that. However, you should not be held hostage to someone. You should know what to do and how to do it, and then decide for yourself if you want to continue to do it or if you want to buy back your time, that's fine too. But don't think that you have to pay someone to do it. So we got to get leads coming in.
Well, I want to add one more thing to that. I think
Yes.
it's worth going through it at least once just to see what it is the agencies are doing on their side and what it actually takes.
Yes.
Because then if you do decide to hire somebody, you're going in just with more information about what the whole process looks like. And that way you don't get ripped off by somebody trying to like sell you on some like dream outcome that you just know isn't realistic.
Yeah. And for 30 minutes of your time, why wouldn't you? It's your business. For most of us, it's your livelihood. I mean, the truth is, this is the only job I've had since 1994. That's it. This is the only job I've had since 1994. And it has been an amazing run. So, all right. So let's open this back. So number one, we got to get more leads. Master Lucas, we got to focus on getting more leads in order to
Okay.
help anything else happen. Because without leads coming in, we have no one to enroll. And without
Sure.
anyone to enroll, we have no one to upgrade. Without people to upgrade, the struggle is real. Okay.
Yeah, I want to speak up if I could.
Yeah.
I'm going to go out on a limb here. Um, so the Facebook stuff you're talking about, Roman's talking about, I
Yeah.
have access to, right? And
Cool. Yep.
I'm
Yep.
gonna get on there today and I'm gonna try and get this done.
Do it.
So if it's okay with you guys, I'd like to issue a little challenge to the whole group.
Oh, I like
And
it.
that is how many people are not doing it and how many people can speak up next Tuesday and say I am doing it.
There you go.
There we
And
go.
I
I'm a
love it.
teacher, I'm a helper, I'm gonna try and help myself, and maybe somebody else would join in with me.
Well, and that's why, our paid groups especially are so valuable because you have camaraderie and you have accountability in addition to the coaching, right? And if you guys are in the school group, drop it when you get it up and running, comment in there. Hey, I got my ads up and running. Finally. Have some fun with it. We don't, we are in a very fun business that I think sometimes we just take ourselves way too seriously. I mean, think about it, guys. You run around in your pajamas all day counting to 10, and people pay you for it. It's kind of ridiculous, but it's amazing. Now, I'm being oversimplified and being a little silly, of course. But, I had a lady tell me that years ago when I was pretty new. I was in my 20s, and she was, I think, in her early 50s. And she goes, Mr. Pesky, you got a good thing going here. I said, what do you mean? She goes, well, you run around in your pajamas all day, you count to 10, you torture us. And not only do we say, thank you, sir, we pay you. And she was being tongue in cheek, she was laughing about it. She was a huge fan. But I couldn't help but laugh. I was like, you know what? You're right. It's a pretty good gig. And sometimes I think that we're so afraid to have fun with what we do that we just take ourselves too seriously. And sometimes you have to, don't get me wrong. But the truth is, we are in an unregulated business that is fun. If you do it right, three things happen: it's easy, it's lucrative, and it stays fun. But I got to tell you, when the money doesn't show up and the struggle is real, the fun goes away. And I don't want that for anybody. Colby Nelson just said, I'm going to get them back up and running right now. Referrals have been working very well. Excellent. That's fantastic, Colby. I'm glad to hear that. Mormondo, hey, I'm brand new and I love the material. Wonderful. Can I hire Roman to help set up our Facebook account? Um, Roman, I'll let you message him directly and see. Do you guys figure out whatever if you want to do something, do it. I can't speak for Roman. I'll let you guys have a little private conversation. You guys can do whatever you want to do. I do want to let everyone know that, we have a couple different tiers of service that you guys can all participate in if you want to fast forward your success. One group is for, if you're already doing north of 20K a month, you're pulling big levers. We got to adjust the dials. If you're not doing 20 grand a month yet, we got to pull some big levers. So, Roman, if you would, drop a link in there for these guys that want to have more success. And sometimes people go, well, you sure do talk about the money a lot. Well, yeah, no kidding. We are business coaches, and your business is about the money. If you signed a lease, you are in a business, whether you like it or not. And the truth is, you have an obligation to generate money. Not only do you have to pay the landlord, but you got to support yourself and your family. And I feel like we also have an obligation to provide a path for our juniors who may want to follow in our footsteps. And if I'm not having any level of success, why on earth would they want to follow me for that? Nobody wants to sign up to be broke. Hey, I want to choose a career to make the least amount of money. That sounds good to me. That's insane. And when I first started martial arts with my instructor back in 1990, um, he appeared broke to me. And my buddy and I signed up, and my buddy's like, oh, we should get our black belts and open up a school. And I was like, no. I just got into it because I wanted to compete. I thought it was cool. I had no ambition of running a school because, from what I could tell, all the guys that ran schools were broke. And it wasn't until my instructor pulled me aside a few years later and had a serious conversation. He goes, hey, I think you could be pretty good at this. We need to have a conversation. Because I was helping out. That was fun, right? And he goes, if you do this business right, you can produce really good students, you can help a lot of people, and you can make some real money. And I liked the first two, but I didn't think the third one was possible. Now he had my attention. I was like, oh, really? Tell me more. And so we started talking about it, at which point I realized, okay, this guy ain't broke. And a few years later, he and I had another conversation when he wanted to start recruiting more people to grow the organization. I was like, hey, you got to show these folks. He was of a very old mindset. He's in his 70s now, late 70s, I believe. And at the time, he was in this mindset where I can't show people I make a lot of money. They might get upset. Like, why you charge me? You have all this money. He was afraid that it might come back on him. I said, sir, times have changed. If we want to recruit people to be a part of this thing, you got to show them that success is possible and that you can make money doing this. Because I guarantee you, these mommies, they want their kids to have real careers and make real money. And if they don't see this as a path to doing that, why would they want their kid to be a part of it? In fact, we literally had a mom go, oh no, my kid won't be a karate instructor. He's going to get a good job. I thought, oh, painful. So he went out and bought a new car. I mean, he went all in. He bought this giant 5,000 square foot house. He bought him and his wife new cars. I mean, he's like, okay, well, then let's do it. And we have, in the next few years, grew from 3 schools to 19. It blew up because we created a path for people to not only see what they could do, but here's the proof it works, right? And so even to today, I mean, the only reason I share anything on social media is so that other people can see that I actually do the things I say and lead the life that hopefully they would like to have for themselves also, I hope, because I am very much into helping our juniors have a career opportunity. Heck, our top guy last year, his personal income, Master Matsumoto, he runs our school in Natomas. His personal income was double, it was over $200,000. Not just barely, it was like 211, but still $200,000 working with us, working with me versus doing it on his own. He doesn't want to go do it on his own, rest assured. Why would he want to go do it on his own? He's got it made. So I want to provide real career opportunities. And all we're doing is the stuff that we're sharing with you. And all you guys got to do is just put it in place. I mean, it really is that simple. Sometimes we get in the way up here. Well, what about this? What about that? What about the other thing? Now skip all that. Go for it. Watch what happens because it can happen fast. You know, if you're doing less than 20 grand a month, to add $10,000 a month to your revenue is a no-brainer. No-brainer. And I don't care where you live. I don't care what market you're in. It works the same for everybody. All right, let's see. Okay, Roman dropped the link in here. If you guys want to click that, if you're not already a member, click it, click the link, click it. If you are a member, great. You know, we do calls with you guys each week to go through a piece of the training, to do some hands-on role play on implementation, because knowing what to say and being able to say it or saying it correctly is a big deal. Delivery matters, right? In fact, just this last Saturday, we did a big training with all of our guys here, and the bulk of the training was practicing the delivery of the dialogue. Not just, okay, here's the words on a page that you need to say to get inside their head and help them see what you see. That's step one. Now let's maybe try to memorize that. Okay, great. And even if it's not verbatim, you got to get the feeling of it. And then step three, now let's practice the delivery of it. Because just saying the words isn't enough. This is an emotional purchase. It does not make any, it takes for a mom to enroll her 6-year-old kid on a 3, 4, or 5 year membership does not make sense. Can we all agree on that? I mean, I've had 5 and 6-year-old kids. It makes no sense logically to commit them to something that's going to take years to complete. It makes no sense. However, emotionally, oh my gosh, it makes perfect sense. So how are we even tapping into those emotions, or are we just saying the words? Or are we not even saying the words at all and just hoping that they give us some money? That's the difference. All right, Kyle asked the question. Thank you, Kyle. Any rebuttal for people that come in and say they just want to check it out, they're visiting multiple schools, and which one they like the most? Yes. Where's Kyle? Kyle's. That means we got to go back and revisit the phone dialogue because those people never show up if you handle the phone call correctly. So the shortcut is I don't want to rebut anything. Here's the thing, people, and that's a great question because oftentimes people are like, well, I keep getting this. Okay, well then it'd be like if I keep running into the wall, how do I fix that? Well, you don't move the wall, you turn a different direction already. You know, walk this way. Come on. So the same thing, if I'm getting, people talk about objection overcomes, and you need to have some of those in your back pocket for the main things that keep showing up, but then you got to go deeper. And to go deeper, what you really need to do is find out why are you running into that wall, and let's take a different course. I'll give you a great example. Um, Years ago, when we increased our tuition, people were like, well, is it cheaper if I just come 1 day a week? Logical question. How much is it if I only come 1 day a week? Is it less? And after getting that question over and over, we thought, we keep running. Why are we bonking our head on the wall where now we have to address their concern? What if we could eliminate them from ever having that concern at all? Wouldn't that be best? Right? It's kind of like we teach in self-defense. Well, if someone takes a swing at you, you better know how to move or block. But wouldn't it be better if you didn't allow someone to get close enough to even take a swing at you in the first place? Right? Same idea. So we got to be the same person both on and off the mat. So if you keep getting the same question of, well, is it cheaper for 1 day a week? How much is it if I only come 1 day a week? Let's restructure this. So fast forward to today, our enrollment procedure, when we're explaining the membership, we literally say, and on this program, families are allowed to come 1 to 2 times per week. You decide which is best. And the tuition is X. You just take it away before it ever shows up. And I will honestly tell you, in the last decade, I have never had someone say, well, is it cheaper if I just come once? Because we already addressed it and we already closed that door. There's no question to ask. And to make it convenient, families come either 1 or 2 days a week, whatever's best for you. Now they can't ask that question. You already buried it. Does that make sense? So, and this is why having the dialogue is so important because I don't want to deal with changing your mind. I want to guide your mind into seeing what I see for you, not hope you understand it and then deal with rebuttal after rebuttal after rebuttal. That's too much work. And plus, what you're really doing is you're trying to prove them wrong. I would rather tell them what to think, tell them what to feel, and tell them how they what, and then give them direction on what to do next. Not choices, direction. Be the instructor, right? It's like when you're teaching class, turn this way, turn that way, get up, get down, answer up louder, right? You're in the habit of commanding the audience on the mat. Well, let's go ahead and decide we're going to do that off the mat also, right? We have to be the same. I don't want to be Superman on the mat and then put on my Clark Kent outfit to go talk to the mommy. Skip that. She's not signing up for that wimpy guy. She's signing up for that hero. As a matter of fact, I was talking to the Galvins that run our newest location in Elk Grove, and Mrs. Galvin was just cracking up. They're both about 30 years old. Mrs. Galvin was cracking up because one of the mommies in the lobby, her husband, Mr. Galvin, was leading the class. This family is a mom and a dad, and they have an autistic kid. And he's pretty high functioning. So he's actually doing pretty decent in the class. You know, he's not superstar by any means. The guy is high functioning autistic, but he's in the class participating. He hasn't been able to participate in anything before. So they're just head over heels in love. Anyway, Mrs. Galvin's walking down the line, shaking everyone's hand, saying how great she is, how great it is to see everybody. And the boy's mom goes, "Ma'am, I just got to tell you, I have the biggest crush on your husband." And she goes, "Oh, what? Tell me more." You know, she wasn't offended or threatened. She's like, "Oh, please tell more." And she goes, "I got it. The most attractive thing on any man is the ability to, what word did she say? I don't know. Basically, the ability to work with kids and lead children. You know, to be that mentor, that role model. I forget exactly what she said, but it was along those lines. And she's like, "Oh my gosh." She's like, "Thank you." She's like, "Oh, but don't worry. My husband already knows." So she was being a little silly, but that's perfect. That means what? That means that they're getting their money's worth and more. The woman's head over heels with the job that they are doing because she sees it making a difference in their life. Now, this is a goofy 8 or 9 year old kid, functioning autism, and he has been there now for about a month. So, guess what program he's on? I think someone said black belt or leadership, and you are correct. You know, now is he going to be a stellar black belt? No, not ever. Not ever. But will he be better off 300 more lessons from now than he is today? Yeah, 100%. And all, you know, because our martial arts at its core is, or I would hope is, about building better people. And this is a place where they found acceptance and coaching on a personal level and, you know, really, really, they found their home. They found a place where he can be normal. He can be a part of the team, right? So, all right, here we go. We got another question on here. Let's not leave our full marketing by offline marketing strategy. All right, so Tim Lucas. Let's make a laundry list, guys. And if you guys want to unmute yourself and contribute with something that you may be doing, feel free. But I'll tell you some of the things that we do consistently that work phenomenal. Number one, we're always marketing online. Always. It is the shortcut. It's so cheap to market online, provided you're following up and nurturing the leads correctly and you have a real enrollment process, not just throwing them in class. Throwing them in class like rolling the dice at the craps table. Good luck. The house always wins, you lose. But if you have a real enrollment process, well, you will earn about $4 on average for every $1 you put in. Those are the odds I want to play. What that means is for every dollar we put into Facebook, we typically get $4 back. It's money well spent. Now, the only thing that stops us from spending even more money is that we maximize how many leads can we get to, because anything more than that gets wasted. I don't want to waste any money. However, that set aside, in addition to marketing online, what else do we do? Well, I know Saturday at one of our locations, we had a booth, and I don't know how many people they met, but they met a whole bunch. Saturday evening, we had a booth in Carmichael. The Friday before, I think it was, our Folsom location had a booth at a movie night in the park. There's so many events you can look for, and here's what you need to do. Go online and Google family events near me and Google it a couple times, change the words up a couple times, and watch what happens. Number two, if you have a Chamber of Commerce website, go there. They list all kinds of family events typically. And if you have a city of website, they tip it out in a big city like Sacramento. A lot of times they're too far away. If it's not within our 3 to 5 mile radius, we don't waste the money. I need people that can actually come visit the academy. I typically don't do anything more than 5 miles away because in Sacramento, it's so densely populated, they'll just go somewhere else. There's a million schools. There's like 200 schools in Sacramento. It's ridiculous. However, if you live somewhere more rural, like we've got a number of clients that are in Texas, and for people to drive 10, 20 miles, isn't that big a deal? Now, Master Brown in San Francisco, I don't even know if they go more than 1 mile. So when heck, Manhattan, they're not going to go more than 3 blocks. You can market to a 1 mile radius, and that's more than enough. So everyone's demographic may be a little different. If you have questions about that, we can help. However, you got to look online for family events. I know a good buddy of mine, he's doing a hot chili cool cars event. It's a huge family event. Anywhere where there's going to be a lot of people. Right now, you should talk to all of your parents in the academy. What school does your kid go to? I know a lot of schools right now are gearing up for their harvest festivals, their fall festivals. I love fall festivals because we'll go out there and have the kids break a board, collect their information, and invite them to come into the academy. We've always got to be inviting people to come into the academy. Last month, we printed up, I think it was 2,000 rack cards, little cards with an offer, 2 weeks for 20 bucks. And we put about 15 of them in, or 20 in every business within a 1 mile radius. And we didn't get to them all. We ran out of cards. So we're doing that again this month. Okay. Activity brings activity. So in terms of schools, you can do flyers. If they'll send out flyers, every school district's different. And here in California, they're really strict on stuff. So we're a little more limited in California nowadays compared to what we used to be able to do. And I don't know what your district is, but it's easy to find out. Talking to the office lady to find out what you can do in terms of giving out flyers, finding out who's in charge of the PTA or PTO, and do a partnership with them. We've done things where we gift everyone we can gift certificates to use in their raffles, any type of event they're doing. We're always giving stuff away for them to come in. And for that, we'll go ahead and give them a 2 week free because they're not going to give away a gift someone has to buy. So that's an exception, not the rule. But let's see what else. We do talk to the teachers. Hey, what school does your kid go to? What's his teacher's name? All the teachers' names and emails are listed on that school website. We'll email the school. Hey, we have a student in common. We'd love to come to the classroom and share the benefits of learning martial arts in terms of helping the kids pay better attention, have better focus, and better discipline in the classroom. When would be what's the best content? We've got a whole letter that we send out. So for schools, you have festivals, any event the school's doing, I'd love to be tied into it. Number one. Number two, with schools, we'll go in the classroom and do an actual school talk that culminates with us inviting them to the academy for the next lesson to break a board. And there's a whole follow-up sequence for that. Number three, you can do the PE teacher for the day. I'm not the biggest fan of that personally, but some guys kill it with it. So that's as long as you can get their information so that you can follow up, anything works. It's all about generating leads. Whatever seasons are coming to an end, talk to those parents. Hey, where are you guys doing your end of the season soccer party? What's your coach's name? Give me his phone number. I'll see if he'd like to do it here. Why? They can do their end of the year party. They don't need to do it at Round Table Pizza. They can order the pizza, do it here, do whatever they're going to do, and then we'll bust out into an intro lesson and invite them all to come in on Monday for a tour and orientation. Um, when we're out putting flyers in businesses, we're also putting them in people's hands as we go, hey, you know what? Here, I bet your kid would love some martial arts. So all of this is just, old school guerrilla marketing, shaking hands and kissing babies, right? And the truth is, the more people I meet, the more people are going to come in. But a lot of people are uncomfortable going out and meeting people. And to that, I say, ideally, just get over it. But if you can't, Facebook and Instagram is a way to go. They will feed you leads all day long. It is pay to play, but the investment is well worth it, provided you're handling the leads correctly. Okay. Um, but to go back here, Kyle, you asked about a rebuttal. If you're following our enrollment process, there's also the cascading fallbacks, where our final fallback is a final fallback, like number 6, is that they have a 2-week guarantee if we have to use it. So yeah, go check out. Once they are in the building, you have an obligation to put them on a membership. There's a saying that we say, it ain't grammatically correct, but it speaks volumes. And that's be backs, don't be back. If they don't leave with a membership, the odds of them coming back are like 1 out of 50. And they're, well, this one guy came back. Yeah, I know. And I got a story about this one time at band camp. I get it. But that's not a business practice. That was you got lucky. Congratulations. Let's not rely on luck to run our business. It's that simple. So if they say they're checking out other schools, we missed the boat on the phone. If you didn't miss anything on the phone, you followed all the dialogue correctly, and something like this still happens, well, then our fifth fallback is a 2-week guarantee. So nothing's at risk. Let's get started. Let's make sure we save you all that money and take advantage of the membership today. And if for some reason, you go visit another school, you do whatever you're going to do, and it's not a perfect fit, well, let me know, and we'll part as friends. No big, no harm, no foul. But I know if the person leaves this building without a membership intact, the odds of them coming back are slim to none. So I'm not going to let that. I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that does not happen. And I'm not going to be aggressive or pushy. I want to give them opportunities to take advantage of the savings. And if I did my job right, if I followed the process right, they're not going to want to let go of that. Once they have it, people will fight harder to keep something than to get something. So you got to give it to them so that there's something that they have a risk of losing. And if that doesn't make perfect sense, it will once you have all the pieces in place. So, but step one, the phone, you got to get better on the phone. All right, Mike's iPhone, we don't discourage people that only attend once a week. Good. The opposite, I heap on encouragement. But how I deal with that question for everyone else is to tell the people who attend just once a week are more difficult to train. True. So I should charge more, but I don't. Okay, there you go. Perfect. Colby, what do you do for locals? Okay, we just talked about that. Perfect. Perfect. Okay, so without leads, you die. It's like, I can't go more than a week without eating food. You die. And the leads are the food that your business needs to maintain or grow. If you want to grow, well, then you got to outrun your attrition. And if you want to just maintain, like if you've got 300 students and you have a 8% attrition, you're going to lose 24 people a month. That's almost one every day. Can you handle that? Or do you get panicky and go, oh, I must be doing something wrong. Let me go back to what I used to do, being broke. No, you realize this is the game you're played in. If you play by the numbers, you expect it. Let me tell you guys, between our multiple locations, I see cancellations come in every single day. And it doesn't faze me in the least because I pay attention to the numbers. And as long as the attrition is in the right margin, it's expected. And as long as the enrollments are in the right margin, it makes no difference. So, back in my young days, I thought I'm going to have a big school of 600 people. And then I realized, oh, that's more headache. For me personally, some guys are into that. There's a couple. But for me, right about 250, 280 is the sweet spot. It's very manageable. I can keep it only 4 days a week. The money is real. And we just got to make sure we enroll 20 people every month. And the best part is, if you follow our system, that could be as few as 10 families. And everybody can sign up 10 people. Let's just make it a family membership so it matters. That's the shortcut. All right. I think we are out of time. Any last minute takeaways we can share? Tim Lucas, let's start with you, sir. Give me a quick 10-second takeaway.
10-second takeaway would be I got to definitely get into this Facebook and Instagram marketing.
Yes, sir. Beautiful. Do it. Joel Brown, what do you got? 10-second takeaway.
Okay. User error.
That's okay.
We have been following the Facebook plan, and we're just having to get back to grassroots. We've been doing the Sunday Streets locations.
Nice.
I definitely need to be reaching out to more schools, which I have not done. That's
Okay.
on me. And as far as reaching out to the teachers and things like that. And
Excellent.
I am upselling the students and asking for referrals from a individual rather than making a blanket announcement in class.
That's big. That's big. Very good. Thank you. Colby Nelson, what do we got?
Well, first thing we have is that we're gonna have to get more streams with the leads. We got the offline covered. You know, I've get referrals. I just had a referral last night, as a matter of fact, and hopefully I did the phone dialogue correct. It started out in text, but long story short, they'll be here next week, Thursday, for the trial period. So we've got the offline, but we got to get the online back up and running so this can be a full-on, well-oiled machine.
I love it. Excellent, Colby. Excellent. All right.
Yep.
Well, guys, we're gonna end the call right there. For you guys that are not in the Warrior Black Belt group, we're gonna go ahead and have you log off. And well, actually, yeah. And then we got about 5 minutes here until we start the next call for you guys that are in the Warrior Black Belt group, so we can dig into some training. And for any of you guys that want to join us for that call or join us in the group, Roman did drop the link on here. If you look in the chat, if you click the chat box, you'll see it. You can click that link and join us and start pulling some big levers and increase your income. Because again, money is not the only thing, but money does matter. Let's not deny that. And the truth is, money, the more money you make, the more choices you get to have, right? And the truth is, in my opinion, money is a direct reflection on how much are we really helping people. You know, if I'm broke, I can't say I'm really good at helping people because there's no evidence, right? However, if you're generating real income, it's obvious people are willing to invest in what you have to offer. You must be good. So if that doesn't sound right, just decide it's true. Okay. In the meantime, you guys have a great day, and I will see you all next week. Thank you.